Since January this year, there have been at least 10 new EVs launched in Malaysia, and that's excluding the existing ones that were either facelifted or updated.
And these two are arguably the most talked about EVs, the Tesla Model 3 and the BYD Seal. So today we're going on a road trip to check out the good and the bad.
Some EVs require a change in driving habit, like with regenerative braking or no gear lever, but some EVs are made to feel like conventional cars.
So on today's trip, we're also going to be checking out just how close or how different they are to your regular cars that run on dinosaur juice.
Before that, sign up for Gentari's exclusive membership for just 899 ringgit and enjoy 50% off every charge at all Gentari stations nationwide.
Speaking of juice, we charge our cars with Gentari's DC fast chargers here at Sunway X Park before heading out on our journey. With chargers as fast as 350 kilowatts DC and more than 160 Gentari charging stations nationwide, EV road trips are truly becoming effortless. But as you'd expect, the elder has something to say about that.
Hey Woon, I guess next time in the future we won't get to do this anymore, saving your friends who run out of fuel.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to call a tow truck maybe? Or hopefully there's a power bank in the future that can charge our cars.
Or they'll be using a petrol-powered van carrying a generator using fuel to charge the car. That's unlikely to happen because the Tesla has 513 kilometers of range from a 79 kilowatt-hour battery, while the BYD with a bigger 82 kilowatt-hour battery offers 570 kilometers.
Introducing Gentari Go, your one-stop sustainable lifestyle platform designed for seamless EV charging, home solar solutions, and exclusive rewards, all at your fingertips. With the convenience of accessing over 2,000 EV chargers spanning across Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand, embrace a clean energy future today with Gentari Go. The plan today is to go for a day trip outside of KL and end it with some seafood by the beach. But even before setting off, we already found a key difference between the two cars. So as modern and futuristic as this interior is, it's still very much like a normal car. Get into it, start-stop button to start the car, put it into D, and you're off. I swear every single time I get into this car, I forget how to get it into gear. Personally, I still don't quite get why they had to do this whole thing, but I guess it's a new age, a new world. So if you can get used to the EV lifestyle, then this will just be another small thing that you have to get used to. In a way, it's sort of like how the world moved on from the Nokias to the smartphones these days. And actually, most of the time, you don't have to touch the screen at all, because when you step on the brakes, the car will just sense its surrounding and try to figure out what you want to do. And because I don't have a start button, most of the time I can also get moving faster than the BYD Seal. There's a slight delay with the startup of my car. I think can be a little faster. Some might say it's very much like a normal car, some might say a little too much. Since we're talking about taking an old approach and adding a modern twist, I think this car does it with the aircon. It can oscillate. You can choose it to be in free or focus. Very practical. Mine doesn't have any of those fancy air vents, but you know this whole digital air vent thing? Well, that was basically invented by Tesla. So in a way, the Seal has the Model 3 to thank for that feature. Speaking of aircons, as with most modern cars, you have to go through the screen to change the settings. And this car is no different, but it offers an alternative. You can change the settings with this screen. Some people will say, well, you can use the voice command, but how many of you actually use voice command frequently? Let's see it in the comment sections. The Model 3 also has steering wheel control for the aircon, but it is a little bit more cumbersome to get used to, so maybe more for the younger generation rather than the elders like that fellow over there. But anyway, you still have to get your eyes off the road because there's only one screen here in the middle. So now, speaking of the elders,
Turn off, make R&R.
I gotta use the toilet again.
oh man.
This would be a good time to check out the car's camera system. Oh, I wish they had a shortcut button here. Oh, looks pretty clear.
They even have multiple angles on the side, both sides. Oh, you can see what's underneath the car in case you run over something. There's a 3D view. This should help parking in tight spaces. No more excuses. As I relieved myself, Woon also found a way to relieve his boredom.
Oh! This is harder than it seems. What on earth is this thing?
Wow, what's he doing in there? Hey, what's this?
You taking so long in the bathroom, I play game first ah. You know how nowadays parents always have to wait in the cars with their kids and the kids always get restless? Well, this is the perfect this is the perfect distraction for the kids.
Yeah, looks like the kid in you is very nicely distracted lah. Back on the road, we realized with EVs, some things may never be the same again. EVs these days, I tell you, really blurring the lines between gadgets and personal transportation. Never thought I'd see the day where you can play a game in the car using its actual steering wheel.
You know, car gatherings used to be about comparing your turbo sizes, the horsepower output, and your exhaust. But these days, car owners, and this is actually based on a true story, well, they're comparing software updates, and that completely blew my mind. I don't know what that says about car culture in general, but it's definitely saying something. Speaking of which, I wonder which of these cars is actually faster.
I know exactly the place to find out.
If we're gonna race, might as well do it the right way at the Petronas Sepang International Circuit. The rules are simple. It's a 400-meter race to the finish line on Sepang's main straight, and the first to cross it wins.
The BYD comes with sports mode, but there's none in the Tesla. So we're going for 2 runs to see how the BYD performs in standard and sports mode against the Tesla. With only a slight difference in specs, it should really be a very close race.
So a little background story, this BYD Seal Premium variant produces 313 horsepower, 360 Newton meters of torque, 0 to 100, 5.9 seconds, 0.2 seconds faster than the Model 3.
Now, Tesla doesn't officially publish their performance data, but according to JPJ, this car here should have about 283 horsepower, which is a little bit lower than the BYD Seal. But in terms of 0 to 100, they're not that far off. I'm 6.1 seconds over here, but I do have an advantage because my battery is a little bit smaller. My car is also 300 kilograms lighter than the Seal over there. And of course, there's me. I'm younger, so I have faster reaction time.
His battery might be lighter, but I am lighter than him and more experienced. It's his first drag race after all.
Now, this car doesn't have any sort of sports mode, so it really is down to the car and the driver's reaction times.
Alright, just for comparison's sake, I'm going to put it in normal mode now, just to see if it is any different in terms of performance compared to the Model 3.
Gentlemen, ready? In 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, the Tesla got hit!
Yes!
Oh no! The Model 3 just creeps forward and overtakes the BYD Seal!
Yes!
What is going on here? Oh my goodness!
Told you, man, it's all about the launch.
It's not slow though, the BYD Seal, but the Tesla just edges it.
Simple as that, simple as that.
Let's have a sudden death lah. Whoever wins this ah. The Tesla may have won the first run, but it felt like the BYD was held back in normal mode. I know it has more to give, so for the next run, I'll use sports mode to see if we can turn the results around.
Gentlemen, ready? In 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh no, he's got a better start.
Oh, the BYD is leading!
Come on, Tesla!
And pulling away very comfortably.
No!
with a very convincing win.
Hey, how are the results so different, huh?
You've seen the results, but the race also showed one thing. While the Tesla gives you full power at full throttle, the BYD is more versatile. The fast, instant acceleration of EVs can be frightening. With the BYD, you can relax in standard mode, but when you need the power, there's sports mode. We did it so that you don't have to, and after finding out which car is faster, we contemplated on both cars over some lunch. You know, for 180k, 190k, both cars offer quite good value for money. I mean, you get a quiet cabin, comfortable ride, unique interior design, lots of tech, seat ventilation, roomy interior, ample storage inside, at the back, in the front, lots of natural light, and a respectable sound system.
Yeah, I agree. Like, my car is about 180k or so.
Yeah.
But I think my car is just a little bit cooler than yours because on top of everything that you mentioned, I've also got an extra screen at the back for my kids to play games. I've got frameless windows, and I think my car is just a little bit more practical because of my bigger boot openings. But you know, the one thing that I think really makes the Tesla stand out from the BYD is the Tesla app. Check this out. Because not only can I control pretty much everything about the car right here from my phone, anywhere in the world.
Wait, anywhere in the world?
Yeah, like literally when I picked up the car, the Tesla rep unlocked the car for me while he was in Penang.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And on top of that, I even have a live view of the camera from outside and even inside the car right here on my phone.
Wow, okay, that's quite useful. I suppose those who have their whole lives in their phone will find this very attractive.
Hey, just for conversation's sake, right? If you were to compare your car to a food item, what do you think it'd be?
Whoa, I think it's the nasi kandar. Different spices, different flavors, many different ingredients, just like the exterior and interior design. There's so much going on. On the outside, you have the bumpers, fenders, rear quarter. On the inside, so many curves and angles. Even the ambient lighting can follow the beat of the music.
Okay, fair enough. For me, I think my Model 3 is something like a donut, but specifically the glazed one from Krispy Kreme, you know? Because it's just so simple, yet so effective.
So both our cars look good, I don't think we have to argue that. But for a change, let's involve our Instagram followers. Let's do a short video with a poll, and at the end of the day, the car with the most votes wins a free dinner.
Sure, sounds good.
Hey, come. What's up guys? So Woon and I are doing a comparison video between the Tesla Model 3 and the BYD Seal, and we want to know which car looks better in the poll below. At the end of the day, we will be collecting the results and including it into our comparison video. Thanks for watching. Alright, for our final stop, Morib.
As complete as the Model 3 is, I think it still really lacks one fundamental feature. I really don't know why we can't have Apple CarPlay here. I mean, the maps here does work pretty well and it does get its data from Google Maps, but isn't CarPlay just a lot more convenient?
The one thing I like about this car is the regenerative braking system. In its default setting, it doesn't feel intrusive. Doesn't come in the way of normal driving. When you step on the accelerator and you lift off, but you don't get that heavy pullback feeling like in some EVs, which is not very comfortable. As more and more car manufacturers are making their EVs feel like conventional cars, this is the way. Makes it easy for people to transition to EVs.
On a Tesla, it's almost the complete opposite because you only get one regen setting and it's basically one pedal drive all the time. So with this car, you really do have to relearn and retrain yourself how to drive a car. Now, granted, you do get used to it pretty quickly, but still, I think if you're someone who's transitioning over from a petrol car to an EV, well, I think the easier it is, the better. And on that note, I think both of these cars are severely lacking some driving sounds. You know, maybe some that mimic the way that an engine sounds like. But you know, even those Hans Zimmer made for BMW, those that sound like spaceship, like I think those will work fine too.
As a more traditional car enthusiast, I agree. At the end of the day, we enjoy our drives, we are encouraged to drive, mainly because of the sound. You get a different sound with every gear change, the sound intensifies with the speed, it just riles you up.
Not only does it add to the driving experience, it also makes us want to go on. If car makers can produce electrical spaceship sounds, they should be able to produce engine sounds easily.
On these kind of roads, I think having some sort of engine sounds will really make the drive feel a lot more engaging. It'll be more memorable because it feels like you're working together with the car in order to extract joy out of it, instead of it just gliding along effortlessly with pure speed. That said, these cars have definitely come a long way, being able to corner like any other sports sedan. Remember, these things weigh nearly 2 tons. The fact that they can feel so agile really is a testament to the pace of EV development these days.
I was already impressed with the BYD Seal after driving it on the Zhuhai International Circuit in China a year ago. But after spending a few days with it in the real world, I'm even more convinced that this is a quality product.
On the aspects of technology and features, well, I guess it's expected from China, but I never expected them to progress so quickly on the aspects of handling and stability. On those two aspects, I've had no complaints so far. If anything, I think the ride is a little too comfort-oriented. There are times where I wish the ride was just a little firmer.
As for the Tesla, well, I really do think it is the best of both worlds. Because it's got a super sharp front end that'll turn in like a mid-engine sports car. It's got a firm enough suspension to handle its weight around all of these tight bands, and it's also still not sacrificing on comfort.
If I have one concern about this car, it would be the tyres. For a car of such weight and performance, I'd feel a little more secure with higher performance tyres and not these eco tyres for the sake of lower rolling resistance, so you get more range. And this is especially important for the heavy-footed, aggressive drivers.
After a full day of driving, shooting, racing these two cars, we arrived at our dinner spot in Morib.
So how are we for range and battery percentage? Huh?
After doing about 180 km today, I've used just about 50% of my battery and still got about 250 km of range to go.
Oh, okay. I still have about 60% with just over 400 km to go. I mean, we didn't travel very far, but we did use a lot of power in a very short time. Still, plenty of range to get home quickly.
Yeah, I mean, for new EV drivers, it might be a bit daunting to see that number drop down every couple of minutes. But once you learn to look past that, you realize that these EVs over here, they're already very capable of going long distance.
I think a lot of people still don't realize that EVs are very different from petrol-powered cars. EVs are very economical in stop-go traffic, low speeds, but on highways, the faster you go, the quicker the battery drops. Petrol cars, as we know, are the complete opposite. You know the saying, it's not the driver, it's the car? Well, in this case, it's really about the driver. You can do KL to Penang in one charge, just like what GC did with the Volvo C40, but can you drive as disciplined as him?
You couldn't, right?
Nah. Too heavy-footed, had to stop halfway.
Yeah, so hopefully in the future we'll have more Gentari chargers. So it's gonna be just like any other petrol cars. You can just plug in and charge as and when you want, no worries.
So both cars seem very well-rounded. So I'm curious, what is the one thing in your car you think can be improved?
I really just want the indicator stock back, man. You know, as well as the steering wheel buttons work. So many times I find myself just flicking a non-existent stock whenever I want to change lane. It's so weird, you know?
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think the ride can be a little more firm. It just kind of bounces a bit at low speeds, just like Range Rover. If you're wondering which of these two cars is the better one, sorry, I don't think there's an answer.
But I think it's safe to say that the Model 3 is probably the benchmark for connectivity in EVs.
Yeah?
Then the BYD Seal, probably the benchmark for Chinese EV sedans.
Yeah? Not that there are many.
Hey, so who won the Instagram poll?
Sign up for Gentari's exclusive membership for just 899 ringgit and enjoy 50% off every charge at all Gentari stations nationwide.